Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Counselor's Couch 101. I appreciate you dropping by. Just to report, if you've seen anything unusual on these posts and the like, there's something going on wrong with the uploads. I've been told that there's solar flares affecting cell phones and electronics and so forth. But I record something and put it on upload, and sits there for hours, and finally it says failed to upload. So I don't know what's going on, but if you've seen any strange podcasts come by, it's being affected by something beyond my control. Trying to make these Actually, I'm trying to make these posts just a little bit shorter lately so that they might more easily upload onto the system. All right, so trying to keep them a bit shorter. Now, I don't suppose it surprises anyone, but I've always been fascinated by human behavior, right? And I remember people that I've talked to in the past, and I see how it relates to people who I'm talking to in the present. And there was a couple I talked to years ago. I promise you it has nothing to do with anyone I'm currently talking with, but there are similarities. Now, the situation with this particular couple was they've been married, for quite some time, 10 years or so, not 50, but 10 years or so. Husband was very, very unhappy with the situation because he said all his wife did was put him down. She's constantly finding fault with him over and over and over again and throwing things in his face and blaming him for this and blaming him for that and on and on. And he couldn't figure out any way to get her to stop. And she was relentless in her attacks. She even did it in front of me when we're all sitting there, and he's describing her behavior, then she does it. And I was thinking of something that someone once said. The saying was, it's a foolish woman who destroys her own house. We could say it's a foolish person who destroys their own home, right? We could say that. But this was going on. And I kept trying to figure out how to convince this woman to change her behavior. By the way, I was not successful with it. I tried. And I thought about that, and I'm seeing similar behaviors currently. And I'm thinking, where does that come from? I'm thinking back to that first couple now. As far as I know, she had never been assaulted or anything. There was nothing like that in her life. There was no particular trauma that anyone identified, right? She didn't have a series of bad relationships and none of that. So where did this idea come from, this behavior come from, that she's constantly putting down someone she married? Why in the heck would you marry him if all you want to do is put him down? And it occurred to me, it was obvious there was something to do with self-esteem, right? And if I remember correctly, females would do this earlier in life. I'm thinking like junior high school, they do this kind of behavior. But you would think someone would grow out of it after a while when they recognize the destructiveness of it. And not the destructiveness to the other person, but the destructiveness to themselves, because they're harming their relationships and people don't want to be around them. I kept thinking, where does a grown adult woman maintain that kind of behavior over time? And I kept thinking, and the theory is, it comes from some sort of low self-esteem. Now, I would like to figure out where it comes from so I can speak to it and possibly get it to improve. But also, I think it helps people who are not into counseling, not studying psychology, to understand the behavior of other people, because it makes it easier for us to deal with them when we say, okay, I get where that's coming from. I understand this person. What was that expression someone once said? I feel your pain, right? It's that idea when we get to understand someone, it's not that we like it. It's not that we're going to tolerate it. It's that we understand it and we don't let it destroy us because we can see its origin, right? So if anyone out there has any ideas about that, please send them over. And if you have a long comment to make, please send it over to the email. It's counselorscouch101@mail.com. counselorscouch101@mail.com. If you have any ideas or have any experiences with people who just kept belittling their partner for no reason at all, where's that coming from, and why would someone do that? Like I said, my theory is that it comes from low self-esteem. In other words, someone feels very, very badly about him or herself or their self, and they feel so badly about it that they have to bring the other person down in order to feel okay with themselves and get through the day, right? Just to exist with the situation the way it is, they have to raise themselves up in their own esteem by bringing someone down, thinking to themselves, well, they're just as bad as I am, or maybe they're worse than I am, so therefore I must be okay. So that's kind of what I'm thinking behind that. And low self esteem is a hard thing to work with because it generates internally. And we keep trying to convince people to change their thinking and what they say to themselves. Call that self talk. Change that self talk because it's so destructive, and there's no reason for it. There's no purpose to it. It's just destructiveness. It's not helping you. So get over it in the sense of not do it anymore, right? So I'm curious, anybody out there got any ideas about this kind of behavior where someone partners up with someone and then just puts them down incessantly to the point where finally the relationship is destroyed? And of course, those two finally did split. They broke apart eventually. I lost touch with them. I don't know what happened to her or what became of her. She got into other poor relationships or not. I don't know. But I do often wonder about that kind of behavior. So, any thoughts about why people would put down their partner and cause a relationship to break, and what do they get out of it? There's a thing known in psychology as secondary gain. People don't do things for no reason. They're getting something out of it, and they wonder what the secondary gain is for someone who destroys their relationship through nonsensical verbal abuse. Why would you do that? What do you get? Maybe I've already identified it. Makes them feel better about themselves. At any rate, I'm going to keep it short because I'm in trouble with uploads, and I'd like to hear back from you. Please let me know what you think, and please stay safe out there. Solar flares and all that. It's kind of hot here right now. I'm sort of melting. So thank you for dropping by. I look forward to talking with you next time, and please have a blessed day.